The Falcons are off to a really hot start. They're 2-0 right now. They're coming off wins against the Panthers, beating the Packers 25-24, coming from behind. And I'm really curious to see if the Falcons can continue the win with Desmond Ridder at the helm at quarterback. Now, Desmond Ridder, he's in his second season as quarterback in the NFL for the Falcons. And he didn't start last year until the near end of the season. And we didn't really know too much about what we can expect from him going into this season. Now, he has garnered a lot of comparisons to Alex Smith. Alex Smith is the definition of a great game manager. He takes care of the football. He made great decisions with the football late in games. And he also was somebody who didn't take a lot of shots down the field. And he was ultra conservative. And with Desmond Ridder, he kind of has a similar skill set to Alex Smith, but way more athletic. He was okay against the Carolina Panthers, against the Green Bay Packers. I don't think he was as good as what the box sheet may indicate. 19 of 27, 237 pass yards. He threw one touchdown, one pick, but he nearly threw 3 interceptions in this game. And Falcons fans will defend this and say, oh, we can't live off what ifs and coulda, shoulda, whatever. It's like the interceptions didn't happen, so it doesn't matter. Yes, it does matter. I mean, if you're nearly throwing 3 interceptions, that means that you're misreading defenses, you're not making good decisions with the football, and these are bad habits that carry over into the next game. So if Desmond Ridder nearly throws 3 interceptions in this game, making bad decisions, what makes you think that he won't do the same thing against the Detroit Lions or the Jacksonville Jaguars? Now, that doesn't mean that Desmond Ridder is going to play bad in all these games. I'm not saying that he is, but all I'm saying is that I think that some Falcons fans are being just a little bit too optimistic about Desmond Ridder just because they're 2-0. You see, it's easy to ignore problems and weaknesses when you're undefeated and you don't have a loss yet. Because most fans, when their team comes away with the win, they don't look at the win from all angles. They don't look at the good, bad, and the ugly. The only thing that most fans talk about when their team wins is the positive. But if we got to talk about the ugly is that, Desmond Ridder is okay at times. He was really good in the fourth quarter, but as far as how he has performed throughout this season, I mean, the Falcons could do better. Now, he's better than Marcus Mariota, but that's not saying much because what is Marcus Mariota right now? He's a backup. Desmond Ridder was better than a backup quarterback. Cool. But is he better than the other 31 NFL quarterbacks that he's starting along with? I don't know. And the Falcons are 2-0 right now, but the Green Bay Packers, they look like they can be a solid team, but the Panthers are 0-2. They've yet to win a game. And the schedule is about to get really tough for the Falcons. You're playing against the Lions, the Jaguars, the Texans, and the Commanders. Now, you're going to smash the Texans, okay? But the Lions, Jags, and the Commanders are all really solid teams. And the Lions and Jags have 2 really good quarterbacks. And you see Desmond Ridder, he's a solid quarterback if you are asking him not to do much. But what's going to happen when the Falcons get in games where the run game may not be as dominant and they got to throw the football 30, 40 times to win? Is Desmond Ridder capable of leading you to a win when you have to rely on him and his arm to win you the game 30 plus times throwing the football? The Falcons are a run-heavy team. They want to run the football. They want to take a lot of time off the clock and keep your defense on the field and tire them out with Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. And that's a winning formula when you're able to go against teams that, don't really have great offenses. The Panthers and the Green Bay Packers. And the Falcons defense has looked better compared to how they have looked in the previous couple of seasons. But when you're looking at the bigger picture, for this team to be able to make it to the postseason, they need a little bit better out of Desmond Ridder. You see, Desmond Ridder, he won't win you games, but he won't lose you games neither. Now, he did play good in the fourth quarter. Okay, cool. But is he going to be able to continue to get away with having those 3 near interceptions? I mean, those were nearly picked off. If those interceptions would have happened, we would have been looking at Desmond Ridder a lot differently. You see, we got to stop ignoring some of the weaknesses for the Falcons just because they got a lot of cool players that we really like to root for, such as Drake London, Kyle Pitts, B. John Robinson. Just because they're good playmakers and they make things easier for Desmond Ridder doesn't mean that he's still going to be able to lead this team to the playoffs. So the Atlanta Falcons with Desmond Ridder, I don't know if they're going to be able to keep this up for too longer. I mean, they could win this division because this division isn't great and Baker Mayfield is balling right now, but Desmond Ridder, he doesn't really look all that fantastic to me, and that's cool. Falcons fans are going to say we don't need him to be fantastic, but excuse me, what's going to happen when you need him to be fantastic? Then what? You see, the problem is you don't need Desmond Ridder to be anything special right now, but what's going to happen when you need Desmond Ridder to step up and make the big throws in the fourth quarter to win you games against quarterbacks like Trevor Lawrence and Jared Goff? That's the thing with Falcons fans. Like, they keep saying we don't need Desmond Ridder to do too much, but what happens when you are? You're not going to be able to win every single game being able to only throw the football 24 times or less. There are going to be games when you're going to have to be able to win with Desmond Ridder airing the ball out. And I don't think the Falcons are capable of doing that. If the Falcons had a Dak Prescott or a Lamar Jackson at the helm at quarterback, they would have one of the best offenses in the NFL right now. This offense could be a lot better with Desmond Ridder not being a starting quarterback if they were able to find a suitable replacement that was a significant upgrade. Now, Desmond Ridder, I don't think he hinders the Falcons offense, but he doesn't make it better. There definitely are a lot better quarterbacks that you can find than Desmond Ridder, and he hasn't been anything special. If I had to grade Desmond Ridder on an A through F scale, I probably would give him like a C, maybe a C minus. I mean, he hasn't done anything crazy. He didn't even do anything great against the Carolina Panthers. The defense had a good game, and they had good, favorable field position for most of that matchup. And against the Packers, he was cool, but he had a lot of near mistakes. And that could have been a disastrous afternoon for the Atlanta Falcons. I'm just saying, like, we got to be a little bit more objective about Desmond Ridder, and I don't really think the Falcons, unless they can continue to run the football at the rate that they have, are going to be able to continue to win the way that they have unless Desmond Ridder can step up his play a little bit. I don't even think he's been a great game manager. I just think that the Falcons overall have just played some really good, complete, complementary games where the defense has showed up big and, you know, the run game has been there, and Desmond Ridder has been able to make big throws when need be in certain moments of games. But asking if Desmond Ridder can continue to play consistent on a regular basis, I don't know, because he hasn't really looked that great, and even Alex Smith was a little bit better than this. I'm just saying, Alex Smith isn't the great comparison that a lot of people try to make it out to be. I think that having the Alex Smith in the year 2023 isn't really that much of a compliment when teams are trying to move on from quarterbacks like Kirk Cousins, who are top 12, top 13 quarterbacks in the league. Teams want elite quarterbacks. Teams want good quarterbacks. And if you got an Alex Smith, there's a reason why he got replaced by Patrick Mahomes. Andy Reid didn't want him. Washington didn't want him. Even after that injury, he led them to the playoffs and won Comeback Player of the Year, regarding everything that happened prior to that. So Desmond Ridder, man, I don't know about him, but I'm eager to see you guys' thoughts about this down in the comment section down below.